All right, guys, Soccerworld Fan TV here. We do have a debutant in this. What is it? I guess for the reactions. Masood, man, yo, how are you doing? First of all, I mean,
Pretty good. How about you, man?
oh, pretty good after that game.
I mean, it was expected, so it doesn't even faze me anymore.
Okay, but obviously, like usually when it comes to reactions, especially when a team loses, people are deflated and they don't really want to do reaction. But you came here right away, so mate, if you have anything to rant about, go on ahead, man.
All right. First of all, PSG played great, right? Their defense was on point. They were not giving any space at all. Right after they got the lead, they were kind of parking the bus, but their counterattacking play was absolutely amazing. That I give props to PSG for. Their attack, however, if they try doing that attack against a top team like Manchester City, Liverpool, Bayern, any other top team, they wouldn't be as successful. I can tell you from experience of watching every single Barca game, full 90 minutes. Barca has no defensive structure. They started PK after a 3 month injury. He was out for 3 months, and then he comes back and he immediately starts against a team like PSG. He can't run on full pace, and he's facing Mbappe. It doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the substitutions, they didn't make sense. Dest was the only player capable of stopping Mbappe. They take him off and bring in Mingueza, who's actually a center back. He's got pace, but not as much as Dest. He goes up against Mbappe, he can't do shit, right? They brought him on. The decision to start Busquets in midfield, you know that it's going to be a pace-filled game. The entire game, you're facing Mbappe, you're facing Verratti, who's well, yeah, he's not as pacey, but one-on-one against Busquets, he's winning that one-on-one every single time. You've got Di Maria. Well, actually, no, Di Maria wasn't there. You've got Mbappe. You've got Draxler coming on later on. You've got Moise Kean. You can't put Busquets against him and call it a good decision. Busquets is incapable of moving around properly. Like, yes, he used to be really good, but he's like what, 34 years old?
Yeah,
He
somewhere
can't
around
move around that good, right? He's got no pace. He's got no agility. He goes up against them. He gets left in the wake. And then who's next? PK. Same problem again. They were dancing around our defense like it was nothing.
there.
The first Mbappe goal that he scored, PK was not moving in. Well, I don't know what Dembele was doing there. He wasn't even covering Kurzawa. But when he passed it to Verratti, PK was supposed to come in and cover the pass to Mbappe. He
Was
didn't
it
do that.
PK or was it Longley that was just standing there? Like I know, like he dribbled
Well,
past.
PK had the opportunity to get in between Mbappe and Verratti,
Mm-hmm.
but again, he was too slow. By the time he started moving there, the pass was already done.
Oh, so okay, I see.
And
I see.
then it got to Mbappe, who was face to face with Longley, and Longley was just standing there like a wooden stick. I don't know what he was doing. So all Mbappe did was just move to the left and shoot. It was it was a good performance from PSG, but I would not say that it was the best performance they could have put out. Their goals, yes, they were good. I'm not taking away credit from Mbappe or PSG, but a lot of the credit goes to the bad Barcelona defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the offense, Messi, okay, Messi created that one chance where Dembele was clear through, and
Mm-hmm.
what did Dembele do? He tapped it towards Keylor Navas like it's nothing.
I think there was a Griezmann chance as well where he was running past so many.
Yeah, exactly. Both of them did it, and then Griezmann also got another chance on the left side where he got the ball. He could have taken it first time at near post, but then he took another touch with his right foot and it ended up going out of play, so he had to dive for it. I don't know what Griezmann was doing there. We've got two world-class strikers. One we signed for 140 million, one we signed for 120 million. They can't put the ball in the back of the net when they're put in the front of the goal. So what are they good for?
Mm-hmm.
And
I do want to ask though. Obviously there are experienced players that have won it all, but do you think now that they're just washed up, they're burnt, and they can't really inspire the young players in that team to strive?
they're, I wouldn't say they're washed up. We've seen it time and time again that a player comes to Barcelona in recent history, not let's say 2 to 3 years back. In that 2 to 3 year span, we've seen time and time again a great player, a world-class player comes to Barcelona and immediately flops. He can't finish the ball. He can't pass the ball. He can't create any chances. I don't think it's a player problem. I think it's a management problem. And you can look at Suarez. He came to Barcelona. He was amazing till up till 2015, actually 2016. He was in the debate for the best striker in the world. And then he went on a run of not scoring an away goal for 4 years in the Champions League. 4 years. And in those 4 years, we reached the semifinal two times, and then the other two were quarterfinals. I can't justify that. No one can justify that. And even in the league, he gets a chance right in front of the net. He doesn't put it in. He strikes it right at the goalkeeper. And then all these players come in and they're only scoring world class goals. They get put in front of the net and they have no composure at all. Right? So I don't think it's a player problem. They're not washed up at all. Philippe Coutinho, Dembele, Griezmann, Braithwaite is, well, I can't really speak on Braithwaite. He wasn't really that good of a player when he came in. But players like this, like they come in and then they can't finish the ball at all. Suarez, what happened with Suarez? He performed bad for like 2 years. He couldn't put any chances in. He would score tap-ins and stuff, get famous off that, or he would score an insane volley, like 1 out of 10 chances that he got, and he would get famous off of that. What happened as soon as he goes to Atletico Madrid? He starts performing again. So no, it's not a player problem. It's a managerial problem.
Right. I do want to ask a couple of things as well, like some of the well, one of the decisions. Obviously, I think he did play a part in terms of the penalty thing. You had a little bit of a debate on that side, but you want to justify actually your reasoning behind that. You said it is actually a pen, clearly.
Like why it should be a penalty?
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the clip again, like even if you can't see the contact, Kurzawa is coming from the right side of De Jong and then kind of moving in towards the left. He's trying to get across him so that while Marquinhos is defending, he can get in front of the net in case he tries putting the ball in. But while doing that, if you look at the angle from the left side, I saw it during the game. They showed it after the goal was done. They showed it like 5 minutes after the goal was done. Um, he gets a very slight touch on De Jong's right heel while his heel is up, right? And that makes his heel go towards the left side, clip over his left leg, and then yes, he ends up tripping over himself. But the cause of that trip is actually Kurzawa just clipping his heel just slightly. And I don't think they're gonna if they check VAR and then they give a penalty where there's no contact. I don't think they can afford that in a game like Barcelona versus PSG. The referee definitely saw some contact, which is why he ended up giving the penalty after checking VAR. Um, so that is my reasoning for it. If you go back and look at the highlights, I'm sure you'll see that clip in there. But yeah,
Okay, so guys, if you do agree with his reasoning, or actually you listened to him and now you did, you can comment below on what you think about it. But now I just want to direct it to PSG as well, especially with Mbappe, because obviously he has been criticized now to not come up in these big games and in these big moments. Came up with a huge hat trick for this game as well. Do you think now this kind of justifies that Mbappe is still like a quality player and he can produce it in the big occasions?
anyone who doubts him saying that he doesn't show up in big games is absolutely wrong. He showed up against Manchester United, came up big for them, made like basically almost got PSG through. Yes, it was due to defensive errors that they ended up getting knocked out against Manchester United. When he was in Monaco, I'd say he single-handedly brought them to the semifinal. Yes, the rest of the team was great, but without his goals, they were nowhere near a semifinalist team. He showed up big for them. He shows up in every game, even against Bayern in the final. He played really good, but yes, of course he didn't get a goal, but he still played really good.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that he's not a big game player based off of what he's 22 years old. You've seen him in what, like 7 big games. He's performed in 4 of them. You can't say that he's not a big game player.
A World Cup winner as well.
World Cup winner as well. He played really good in the World Cup. You cannot say he's not a big game player. Yeah, sure, you can say that he's he's not quite there yet, but you can't just rule him out completely because he's way too young and he's already performing in big games like this game. Like, yes, Barcelona wasn't at their best, but it's still the pressure that gets to you. You're facing Barcelona in their home ground at the Camp Nou. the pressure still gets to you, and he's 22 years old and producing a hat trick performance. That's really good.
Yeah. Would your mind change if he went to Real Madrid?
Of course, I'm biased against Real Madrid. Of course. However, it would be nice to see that competition. I know Madrid doesn't have individual talent anymore. Well, I'm not saying no one's individually talented. They they're more focused on a team game than individual talent nowadays. I know they had their whole Galacticos phase, and then they had the phase where they bought Modric from Tottenham, developed him into an insane individual talent. There was Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Benzema. They were all great, but back then they were individual talents. Now, if you look at their team, they don't have good big name players. Like Benzema, yes, he's good, but not as good as he used to be. However, they are still outperforming Barca.
Hmm.
Yes, they had a couple bad games, but in most Barca, the only reason Barca's equal with them at on points is because Barca got lucky in a few games. And if you look at it team to team, Real Madrid is a way better team than Barcelona right now. The only thing holding Barcelona together is Messi. So in that case, if Mbappe does end up coming and Messi stays, the Messi versus Mbappe rivalry will be good to see.
Hmm. And one final thing I want to say as well. You talk about how Barcelona is kind of declining and everything. Do you think it's just down to not having like a sense of that culture? Because like I think before as well, like there was like an expectation. And I think there still is though. It still lingers, but do you think that it's slightly regressing and you need to kind of renew that sense of a winning culture per se?
It's I'd say they're declining mainly because of the mentality. Um, I watch Barca week in, week out, and it's mostly the old players that have the bad mentality, that have the champion mentality, I'd say, that they believe that they are champions. And yes, they are. They've won what basically everything. Like players like Jordi Alba, Busquets, JRPK, they've won everything you can win as a club. But now they're at that point where the team's not doing good, but they're not ready to admit it's their fault. Jordi Alba does something wrong, he goes and screams at the ref as if he didn't do something wrong, and then he ends up getting a yellow for it, and then he plays bad the entire game because he's angry. And Joao Piqué, he keeps attacking because he wants goals, but what he really needs is to stay back and defend. It's stuff like that, like Busquets putting in bad passes and not correct. Like, you put in the bad pass and then you're like, okay, I did that wrong. I'm gonna correct myself the next time around. Busquets doesn't seem to care. He's gonna do the same thing over and over again, like he did today. And it's that mentality that has sort of been the decline of Barca. In the beginning of the season, Messi was also on that mentality. He would do something wrong and he wouldn't try to fix it, or he'd get mad at the ref, or he'd get mad at his teammates. And it was hard seeing Messi like that because I know Messi's like capable of way more, right? But that's when we really noticed the decline because Barca started losing week in, week out. And it was because Messi wasn't performing. As soon as Messi started performing, we went back to our average self. But it's mostly the mentality of the teammates and the players that is bad. And I'd say the only way to fix that is to bring in a manager who can actually be passionate about the team and be highly disciplined. That's it.
All right, great way to end it, and appreciate your thoughts and opinions of the game, especially after a loss, which is usually really hard to take. But you seem fired up. You seem very passionate to see Barcelona strive again and reach those great heights. And for any Barca fans or any rival fans, if you do agree with this opinion and what he has to say, please give a like on the video. Please share this video, and of course subscribe to Soccer World. We are going to be doing match reactions for all the big games. Whoever wants to give a reaction, please come by. And thanks once again for coming and making your debut, man.
No problem, man. Glad to
And
be here.
and as always, y'all take care and peace.